Hi everyone, how are you? So this video, I'd like to bring my guest. She is a pronunciation coach based in Hawaii, and I'm usually coach Japanese students to improve their speaking and conversation skills, but she is specialized in pronunciation. So I'm so excited to introduce my friend. Aiko, thank you so much for coming to this channel.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Aiko Hemingway, and I live in Hawaii. Right now, I teach English pronunciation to Japanese speakers, but I used to struggle. I still practice my English and pronunciation every day, but I used to struggle with my English and pronunciation in the past. So I learned a lot. I made so many pronunciation mistakes. I got laughed. Some people got mad at me because I said something inappropriate, something inappropriate in a place where I shouldn't have said a word like that. So from that, I learned a lot about English pronunciation. And first, I was copying how native English speakers were speaking, but copying wasn't enough. So I learned the phonetics and accent reduction, but that wasn't enough. And then I started learning the breathing techniques using more air, vibration, and energy. And recently I started taking Mongolian Tuvan throat singing lessons, and that is helping me understand how to use my diaphragm and how to use my throat. So now I feel like my English voice is improving. So I am teaching my Japanese clients how to use their voice and the diaphragm.
Wow, thank you so much. And I didn't know about the Mongolian singing technique thing. And then when I saw your video, I was like, what is this thing? You were using like different parts of, I don't know, where are you using?
Right. It's a very, very interesting, right? So one day I was listening to some music on YouTube, and then I was like, wow, this is very interesting. What is it? And then I saw the title saying throat singing by monks. And I'm like, what is throat singing? Because it sounds so interesting. And then I looked it up, and then I saw Mongolian and Tuvan throat singers singing two notes at the same time. And I was like, what is it? Can we do this? So I got very curious about it. So I decided to take throat singing lessons from a Tuvan throat singing teacher who lives in Mongolia. So I'm learning a lot about the vocal techniques.
Oh, wow. So you found it on YouTube? That was the beginning? And you were just
Yes, by
curious.
accident.
Oh. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. But you were learning directly from the master in Mongolia. So that's super cool. All right.
Yes.
And I like to tell everybody who's watching this video that Aiko just got accepted in TEDx talk in Huntington Beach. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. So I'm gonna go to California in September, and then I'm gonna talk about Mongolian throat singing, by the way.
Oh, really? That's the topic?
Yes, how it helped me improve my English pronunciation.
Oh, wow. It's like a one of the kind talk. I think nobody knows about the pronunciation and Mongolian singing like at the same time. So that's very interesting topic. So I think everybody wants to know what made you want to apply for this TEDx talk because I don't know. I've never watched Japanese TEDx talk, but it's all in English and the audience is it's in California, so everybody speaks and understands English, and you need to speak in front of I don't know, hundreds of people. So what made you want to apply for this?
So I actually, okay, so 2 years ago, I started visualizing myself speaking in front of an audience. Like whenever I closed my eyes, I saw myself on stage and then speaking in front of people. So that was 2 years ago. But 2 years ago, I didn't know what I will be talking, right? Like, what am I talking? I can see myself on stage talking in front of an audience, like big audience, but I didn't know what I would be speaking. I didn't know, but then since that visual came to me, I kept thinking about like where would I be speaking, right? I kept asking myself, and then like maybe last year, especially after I discovered Mongolian throat singing, I'm like, wow, I'll be speaking about this at TEDx. I don't know why, but like I have my journal here, and then when I look at 2022, like October, I'm already talking about it. It's so interesting because every time I write something on my journal, it becomes true. So like, for example,
Did you
like,
just like dump your ideas into your journal, whatever came to your mind?
yes, I do that too. But what I do is my like future diary. So I am writing down as if it's happening already.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I wrote it here in my book on October 4th, 2022. And I see the word TED Talk. It says, I will go on TED Talk. Like I wrote it here. Like I will go on TED Talk. I wrote that on October 4th, and I kept writing it because that's what was happening in my inner self already. So I was writing it as if it was already happening. So then like 2 months ago, I saw a Facebook post and saying, application is now open for TEDx Huntington Beach. Apply now. Looking for all the great speakers. And then when I saw the post, I'm like, oh, no, that's not me. That's not me. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. So I kept ignoring her posts. But I saw this one. Today is the last day to apply for TEDx Huntington Beach. I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm like, I had to apply. So I applied last minute. And then I was applying it last minute. I was using my phone because I didn't have the computer at that time. I was out. So I started typing my application form, and my hands were shaking. Sweating and shaking like this. It was because phone is so small, right? So if your hands are shaking, it's so hard to type. But I kept typing. No, this is the idea. Okay, I'm gonna, then it's phone. It's so small, so you don't know what you wrote.
I know, right?
But I kept typing, right? Because I already had the idea in my head. I just needed to get it out of my head. That's all. So it was kind of easy for me to just keep writing it without knowing what I wrote. But it required 60 seconds of a video.
Oh, you have to send it out right away on application?
Right. So I created a 60-second video on my computer, and then it was so easy because I have this experience of making more than 500 videos on my YouTube, right? So I already had that experience. So it was easy for me to create the video right away, uploaded it on my YouTube unlisted, and then put the link to that application form. And then I happen to have my professional taken photos. So I didn't have any professionally taken photos before, and the application form had the requirement, the photo that you're going to submit needs to be professionally taken.
Oh, wow.
Photo. I'm like, oh, wow, I have it because I had a photo shoot just last year. I didn't have that kind of pictures before, but now I have one. So I just chose one and then applied. So I applied it last minute because I felt like I had to.
Yeah. Good thing you took that photo. Imagine if you didn't have it, you took your video, you wrote down everything about your, application. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have the photo.
Right. So I think like if I took action 2 years ago, I had nothing, right? I didn't have any photos. So maybe I couldn't apply. But now, for some reason, I felt like I had to apply. And then it ended up like I had everything ready to apply. Like I had the skills to create a 60-second video, and I had a professionally taken photo. And I had the ideas here. I want to talk about throat singing and English pronunciation. And then everything was ready. I just needed to take action. So I'm glad that I took action that day.
Wow, that is really cool because everything you did in the past, journaling, photo shoot, video taking for 500 videos, you discovered throat singing, you've been practicing your pronunciation and teaching, everything put together, you're ready to go. Hit the apply button and now you're accepted.
So I hear like some people have to apply for 40 different TEDx before they get accepted for the first time. But for me, it was my first time applying. And then I got accepted. But I think that's because I listened to my heart. Like, no, you have to apply. Okay, I have to apply. Okay, I will do it. Right. So that was like really interesting. And then I felt like, yeah, I was supposed to do this. I think I'm supposed to be doing this.
You meant to do that. Wow. That's crazy. Really, like what we think becomes reality, right? Great. So how do you feel right now? It's in September, so you got like 5 more months to go, but how do you feel and how are you practicing?
Yeah, so the day that I received the email saying, congratulations, you'll be speaking at TEDx Huntington Beach, I couldn't sleep at that night. And then again, the next day, I couldn't sleep at night. So I spent 2 nights without sleep. And then I fell asleep a little bit, but I kept waking up. And then I woke up, or my hands were so like wet because I was like sweating a lot. And so was my feet. Like when you get scared or nervous, like your hands and feet become really sweaty, right?
Yes.
So I spent 2 days having my hands and sweaty all day long and even at night, and I couldn't sleep for 2 nights. And I was like, oh no, this is so interesting because I am so scared of doing this, even though I wanted to do it. Now it became reality. I am so scared of doing this. So since then, I decided to start working on myself, like work on my health, work on my mental. So I stopped drinking caffeine so much. Like I used to drink maybe three cups of maybe like a latte or green tea and maybe another latte. So sometimes I was drinking 2 lattes a day plus 1 green tea or something. So I stopped that and then I stopped sweating.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
and then I started working on my diaphragm. So in throat singing, it's really important to work on your diaphragm. But now I want to have a nice, like, breathing technique that supports my mental. So I am really working on my muscles right now in the diaphragm. So I am preparing myself for this speech because realizing, oh wow, I really need to work on it. And then I started practicing my speech last week. The official training already started last week. So yeah, we're already working towards that. And then I will have more training, once a month official training. And then I have additional support from my TEDx coach. And I will ask some like Toastmaster friends to help me too. And then I have some Toastmasters friends that might be able to give me the opportunity to speak in front of a live audience. So I will be asking for a lot of help
Great.
to prepare for this.
Wow. You got your friends are ready for you too. So that's perfect. How many speakers are going to be in Huntington Beach TEDx?
Yes, so there are going to be 12 speakers total.
Wow. Okay. Oh, this is so exciting. I think it's really inspiring for us Japanese people who are learning English or using English, because we don't want to do something that scary. So it's really inspiring to know that you will be in TEDx talk and you've been getting ready for it. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm the only person who speaks English as a second language.
Out of 12 people?
And then I'm the only Asian. Looks like I'm the only Asian.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh wow, because when it comes to speaking English outside of Japan, I know a lot of Japanese people don't want to do it. It's rare, right? Like, do you know any Japanese people who have done TEDx outside of Japan?
I don't think so. I've seen inside Japan, but not outside. I've seen other non-Japanese people who use English as a second language. I've seen those people, but not Japanese people.
Right. So I feel the same way, or I don't know any Japanese who have done TEDx outside of Japan. So I know it's rare. So that's why I want to do this. I want to show other Japanese, hey, you can do this too. I can do it. You can do it too.
Wow. Maybe someday in the future after TEDx talk, you'll be in like NHK featuring your journey to TEDx.
Yeah, that would be fun. I want to share where I was before and where I am now and where I will be in the future.
Yeah, wow. Maybe you will write a book in the future about this too. It's really inspiring. Okay, so lastly, I would like you to share some pronunciation tips. Many of my audience are working on their English. They do probably many things: speaking, conversation, listening. They try to do pronunciation as well. So do you have any tips for them?
Yes, I do. So the first thing I always ask my clients to do is to slow down and like really like slow down. Like for example, I attended a meeting yesterday where Japanese people were speaking English, and then I maybe understood maybe 65% of what they were saying. It was like really puzzle. I needed to really work hard to understand them. So my brain was so tired after the meeting, right? So imagine native English speakers who don't know anything about Japanese accents. Like, how do they receive that? Like, yesterday I was attending a meeting and I'm Japanese. I know Japanese accents really well. Then I understood 65% of what they were saying. So how much would native English speakers understand? Right? So I can imagine that they're like, oh, they're not going to understand anything, right? So I always, and then the main reason was they were speaking so fast with the Japanese cadence, Japanese rhythm, Japanese pronunciation, like consonants and vowels were all Japanese, and they were speaking so fast with the Japanese rhythm. So I thought that it didn't sound like English to me. So until you get the rhythm, intonation, and all the breathing, consonants and vowels, all the pronunciation rules, I always recommend my clients to speak really slowly. You know, I always mention that, you know, like native English speakers who are not used to Japanese accents will have a hard time understanding Japanese accents. So I always emphasize we should slow down at the beginning. And then when you slow down, then you can pay attention to the little details, right? Like as long as you're speaking really, really fast, you're not going to be able to work on your pronunciation because you will be focusing on speaking fast. So you want to get that part out, start speaking really slowly so that now you can work on your pronunciation. So that's something that I always recommend.
Wow, thank you so much. It's really interesting, but Japanese people, many of them think it's cool or they should speak fast. But like you said, if they can speak English really fast, that means they use Japanese sounds. We can talk really fast in Japanese because we use Japanese sounds. But when they really use, like, it's like a different ingredients. If you use Japanese ingredients, you can make really fast sound, but it's not English, it's Japanese sound, right? And then when you said 65% of understanding of Japanese speaker speech is really interesting as well, because one time I was talking to native speakers, English native speakers, and they are also English teachers, but then they were saying, even as a teacher, I couldn't understand their English or his English, and it should be comprehensive. They don't need to speak just like native speakers, but we need to understand, and their English shouldn't give listeners fatigue. Like they shouldn't make the listeners tired just because listeners have to pay attention to their English, right? So it's so important, but this is so important, but we tend to forget, you know, they don't understand Japanese accent at all.
That's a really important point. We tend to forget about the listener's side, and we tend to focus on speaking fast because then we will look cool, right? I'm not saying everyone thinks this way, but I was like that too. I was focusing on speaking fast because to me it was cool. And then when my clients came to me, and their level is really high, so they want to speak fast, and then they keep saying, "Oh, I thought I needed to speak fast because that way people will understand me." No, it's the opposite. It is opposite. So it's one, maybe it's a limiting belief or the belief that we just created that we needed to speak fast so that native English speakers will understand. And maybe two, it'll look cool if you speak fast. So, in order to gain confidence and to appear confident, maybe you're thinking you need to speak fast, but no, slow down now so that you will improve faster.
That's so interesting. Slow down so you can improve faster.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So do you have any lessons or anything available so that people who want to improve their pronunciation can learn from you?
Yes, so I have multiple programs, group coaching, and I have advanced private coaching, and I also have a program for pronunciation coaches. And I also have a membership. But in order to taste my lessons and my style of coaching, I created a mini series of 3 lessons and focusing on air, vibration, and energy to get the English sound and English voice. So I created that, and it is $25. And I'm going to provide the link so you can go to the description box and check it out. This is for advanced English learners who are Japanese. And if you're already working in an English environment and you want to go higher, maybe you understand 80% of what native English speakers are saying, but you are missing 20% and you don't know how to get the 20% out. This program will help you start hearing more sound, start recognizing more sound, and it will improve your pronunciation at the same time. So I have this mini series, so I want people to taste my coaching this way.
That's awesome. Great. So if you can see the description below, there's a link for this. Please check out her page and then sign up. It's only $25, and you're going to learn so much about pronunciation, and you will eventually improve your listening skill as well. So this is really exciting. All right. So thank you so much for coming to my channel today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching this video. Bye, guys.